The following program may contain language of an adult nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of alltalkradio.net.
We are anonymous. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. My boy Maxwell Silverhammer and my bottom bitch jerk man will set you straight with some good old true shit and none of that shit that irks me. Hey Maxie baby, I still got them videos. You fill my cereal port perfectly. Bitch.
Ah, yes! Finally kicked those fuckers off the air.
It's about goddamn time I got sick of those fucks.
Yeah, that GJ Jerkman and Maxwell Silverhammer with all their goddamn anti-corporate
You know what?
talk.
Just be happy. We're gonna go celebrate right now. I think we should go do some golf and butt fuck one another.
Oh, that's the greatest. I'm ready. Hold on. Go get in the car here.
Get the hell away the other side. Another side. There you go.
There we go.
All right.
Oh, this is a great day.
I'm gonna start it up now. You ready?
These bastards.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Bora Bora, here we go.
It's the STIM Radio Show.
Maxwell Silverhammer, GJ Jerkman, Cruise Control, and G Motor. Do you smell fire? I think somebody lit a cigarette. No, it's the hottest radio show on the internet. So keep it locked here from 7 to 9, cause the STIM Radio fam, they ahead of their time. And now it's lesson 1, man, this is lesson 2. No format because they keep it fresh and new. And this is what I call HQ. Hey, Winfrey, you're a musical genius, man. They can't paint it like a face is. But if the content is making you sick, take some Dayquil. And if you think that the jocks sound quirky, allow me to introduce you to the shit that irks me.
Welcome to the STIM Radio Show. If the man behind the mic, if it was illegal to masturbate, he would owe a buttload of fucking money. Maxwell Silverhammer.
That's not all. I'd be in jail, man. They'd probably given me the death penalty or some shit. Yeah, bitches. Actually, I did jack off like 3 times last night.
See?
You know, what it was, I couldn't sleep.
So you jack it when you can't sleep to make you tired or something?
Well, yeah, I'm hoping I can make myself fall asleep. Well, the first time I jacked off, I fell asleep pretty quick. And like an hour later, I woke up. And I'm like, fuck.
So it didn't last.
No, it didn't. But it put me to sleep initially, but it didn't keep me under, I guess. So I get up and, I went and downloaded the show and all that shit. Remember we had our little issue with last night's show.
Right.
So I
worked on it and got it up like I promised.
Yeah, you did. You got it up there, man. Thanks for doing that.
Not a problem.
And so I went and did that. Then I was hungry, so I went and ate something. And so I'm up and I'm like, all right, man, I got to get back to sleep. So I go back to bed, jacked off again, then just kind of laid there. And I'm like, fuck, I can't get to sleep.
Now you woke up again?
No, I didn't even
Or you just didn't go to sleep?
I just didn't go to sleep. So eventually...
I say because if you went to bed once, got up, now you got hungry, went out and got something to eat, jacked off, and you would have fell asleep again and woke up, I would have said, look, your best bet would have been to go to Red Lobster, get it the fuck over with, get the, get that blood flowing. And
yeah? Get the blood flowing, huh?
Yeah.
Get my dick sucked? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, you get porked.
Yeah, see, like I told you, though, I got to be the man.
That's what I was going to say. So he would be the bitch in the deal.
Yeah, so I'd have to fuck him.
Okay.
So, but, man, I just couldn't get hard to fuck a man.
Yeah. You think?
No, I couldn't.
I couldn't do it.
Oh, here we go, G Motors. Oh, shit, let's see.
What's he going to say? Are you on the air? I can't find you.
Hold on, let's see what he says here.
Show tonight.
We're on.
Why didn't you just look and tune in? Motors, what the hell is wrong with you?
It's like, turn it on.
You have a show tonight? Well, if you turn it on, you would know.
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of like, man, and it's funny because he rips on everybody else for doing that, and then he'll do the same thing. Like, the nights I don't have shows, I got one friend that always seems to want to listen the nights that we're not doing shows.
Not doing shows.
And he'll text me. I'll be like, hey, man, I tried to get on your show and listen, but it wasn't. And I'm like, that's because we're not doing a show tonight. So, yeah, there's a show tonight, man. Turn us on. And I can't text you back while I'm on the show. So, anyway, well, man, I think we're going to, because Hamster's going to join me later. We were having a little Facebook debate today. And in the meantime,
I'm still trying to find your, let's see if we got it in here, your Sighty McJesus. Because it keeps, it's elusive to me anymore for some reason.
That's weird.
There we go. I got it.
Got it?
I got it. Let's see if we can drag it. Why doesn't it not allow me to drag it? Okay, you know what? Doesn't matter. I can do this. It will not allow me to drag it over for some reason any longer. That file specifically will not let me allow me to do it.
And I don't know why, technology makes these executive decisions.
Because it says it's a shortcut from somewhere, but I don't know where it would be a shortcut from, because I remember dragging it off my desktop and putting it there, but somehow it created a shortcut.
That's fucking weird.
So unless I can't drag and drop it, but I can click it and play it.
Huh, okay. Well,
weird, right?
Oh, that's not it even?
No. So tell me when you're ready for it.
I'm ready for it.
Then there it is.
Oh, that's the phone in the other room.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is that?
All
right, here
people
we go.
Fucking don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Oh,
Can't
Jesus
see
Christ.
Shit. Gotta help these fuckers.
Gotta save that blind man.
See?
Gotta save him from danger.
You have to do this.
Gotta save that blind man. Gotta save him from strangers.
They're wall walkers.
Well, here's the... there was one that happened the other day that I actually forgot to tell you guys. It wasn't a big one, but I had this guy, this driver that was doing the, all right, step, doing that whole little bit.
So he was doing what's his name? Step, 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 step. The fucking with that guy that pissed on that girl.
Oh, R. Kelly.
R. Kelly, yeah. That step song or whatever.
Yeah, he might as well have been. He was like, oh, step there. Yeah, I got it. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, motherfucker, I'm coming. And the guy tonight was the same way. Although, he was, it was just kind of funny because some of these, now, I don't know, I think I've asked you this before, but why is it ask a blinky time when I get on the bus? Why does everybody have such intrigue with blindness? I don't get it.
Well, because they don't know what it's like to be blind. They can't see how you can live in a world without sight to it.
Yeah, well, why don't you ask the Phoebes in wheelchairs?
Well, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. What's it like not to be able to walk it? And I'm sure that's a pain in the ass question to them. What's it like not to be able to walk if you walked before?
See, but I don't think that they have as much interest in the wheelchair people.
I've seen a lot. Yeah, I used to have a friend that was in a wheelchair. That guy, everywhere he fucking went with pity parties. He'd be like, you don't have to pity me.
Yeah.
He says, okay, what happened is unfortunate for him. He says, but you don't need to pity me for it.
Well, I don't see the drivers asking them very many questions, but they always ask me questions. Like the one this morning was asking me about it, and I can't remember what she was saying.
Maybe because they're thinking in their world, losing their legs. Of course, you can
these
see,
people have
you can
legs,
get around.
but they just can't
But I'm
work.
just saying, losing the legs with any mobility.
Right.
So at least they can get in a wheelchair and move around. You're just total blindness. You can't ever just open one part of an eye and do something. So it's just total darkness, and they can't comprehend that.
Wow. I guess so. I think that might be the case.
Yeah.
Because even the guy tonight was asking me how long. He was like, so how long have you been without sight? And I'm like, nigga, all my life. And he was like, oh, you've been that way all your life? And I'm like, yeah. He was like, oh. Well, he did say one smart thing. He goes, oh, so you're pretty used to it, huh? And I'm like, well, yeah. It's been almost 40 years.
Yeah, you kind of get used to stuff like that after a while.
Exactly. And or like
you used to your dick by now?
Right. And then the driver this morning, was playing, blindo geography, where, she was asking me if I knew all these blind people. She was like, do you know, and you know what sucks though? I did know a lot of the people she was talking about. That's what's fucked up. It's like, damn, I mean, on one hand, it is shitty that they're asking you, do you know this? Obviously, if they're blind, you got to know them. But the more fucked up part of it is, you do. So, and it's could be with the job that I do, you know what I'm saying? Or just things that I've done around that I met.
Oh, look at that. Look. I fixed it.
Oh, it works now.
Yeah, I can drag and drop it.
How'd that happen, man? You didn't...
I took it from another file I had here and moved it over to that, from that file to the other file, and copied and pasted it.
Hey, well, it still worked. I mean, you had it play.
But this way we can actually load all your stuff in, and it doesn't erase it every time to play it.
Oh, gotcha. So for you,
it's just more convenient this way. Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah, but what was the other thing? And of course, when we and then she was asking me, like, this is the driver this morning. She was saying, so why don't you have a dog? And I'm like, because I don't fucking want a dog. You know, they're a pain in the ass.
You're talking about just a regular dog or a sight dog?
Guide dog, of course.
Guide dog.
Yeah, and she was like, well, you know, you must have... No, here's what she said. She goes, you have some vision, don't you? I was like, no. And she was like, well, you get around pretty good with just a cane. And she's like, you don't have a dog? And I was like, I don't need a dog. I don't want a dog. And she was like, oh, really? And I'm like, no, dogs are a pain. And she was like, oh, okay. So anyway, but yeah, no, it's just interesting.
How does that make you feel?
Well, it's just interesting that, you know, every time your blindness is a conversation piece all of a sudden, you know, and you're just like, fuck, man, I'm just a normal person. Why do you have to
No, you're not. You're broken. I hate to
right.
tell you this. You're a broken son of a bitch.
Yeah, you're right. You know,
you'll never, ever be right.
I'm broken.
You're broken. I mean, you can't never be right. You never will be a whole person.
Oh, that's the other thing. Speaking of that, I was, that's another SMJ. Oh, and by the way, today getting off the bus, the driver was SMJing me too. The same guy that
Today?
Here? That when I got here? Yeah, because he was like, okay, with the steps, he was like telling me every step. And I'm like, dude.
Oh, I seen that because I was walking up. I remember that.
That's right. So you saw him doing that. Okay.
Yeah. It's like, up.
Yep.
That one more.
And I'm like, dude, I got it. And yeah, exactly. When I got to the curb, he was like, oh, one more. And I'm like, yeah, nigga, I know. You know, I know where the steps are. I'm not totally fucking in a world of like, you know, I don't know what's happening 1 second to the next, you know, where you just stumble over shit and break your balls. But yeah, I was at that's right. I went to this like Thai restaurant with Mac Metro this weekend. And the waitress wouldn't talk directly to me because, you know, in her country, we're vulture pooed. You know what I'm saying? And
well, really, I mean, think about this. How much money can be saved from taxpayers? You cause taxpayers, and seriously, from the time you were born until now, how much does it cost to help educate you, to help get you in the directions you should be, being blind? I mean, if we would have fed you to the vultures at birth...
Oh, yeah, you know how to push the buttons. No, these, but it was just funny because this way, you know, like a lot of Asian cultures, they don't, you know, they don't like disabled people because they're broken, you know? So, yeah, like Henry had to order for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, oh, yeah, he's going to have those spare ribs or whatever. So he ordered for me because she didn't want to talk directly to me. It was like when I would say stuff to her, she would kind of, you know, like you could tell, you know, like not really answer me directly or whatever, you know. I was just like, So, yeah, that's kind of funny. And but this is going up to, we're working up to the debate we were having, that we always have, you know, where you say that, you know, we or blind people like to be SMJ'd.
I hate to tell you this, but you're definitely wrong on this, and I will argue this point to the day you fucking die.
And I will do the same.
Because
for my point,
I'm telling you, there may be some, but not all. Not all these people out here are just totally dependent upon the sighty, the way they think and do things. I'm telling you, there's some of them that just fucking love it. And there are, you know, those people that go out and tell you that are sighted and say, oh, if I do it, I'd milk it. Yeah. These are the people that are doing this. They are milking it.
Yeah, exactly. Because guess what? They're thinking like sighted people.
But it doesn't matter.
Where are they learning that? That's a sighted thing.
No, I don't believe that to be true. I don't think in every case it's true. There may be some, and I'm not saying there's not. But I don't believe in every case it is. I've seen blind people that have milked it just for everything they get, and some were blind from the beginning.
But see, this is what they're taught in those fucking institutions.
No, well, they may be taught some of this stuff, but I don't think they're taught to be that way. They enjoy it because they get special privilege, they feel, and they enjoy it. Like I said, I watched somebody's face light up like a fucking Christmas tree when they were told how to do this and what it's like. It was like they were just so fucking happy that someone was recognizing their disability and giving them the pampering they needed.
See, but that's it. You have, because trust me, I've had teachers, you know, that, you know, they give you, you know, I used to get, what was it, in high school and junior high? Mm-hmm. They'd give us, we could get out of class 5 minutes early.
Right.
We didn't need that. You know, somebody came up with that shit. And, oh, yeah, you know, if you're, you know, the blind kids can...
But that was for you. Maybe there were blind kids that couldn't fucking... that would go out and they would linger and they'd la-la because they were so used to having people do shit for them that they didn't do and have a straight head thinking...
But see, that's it. used to having people. So
well, that's what I'm saying.
What comes first, is the chicken or the egg?
That's what, and that's the whole thing. You really have to sit back and debate. I don't think the chicken or the egg came first. I think it's individual people. I think it's the way their mindset is, the way they think, and what they want from it.
Yeah, but I think that they get that from sighted people.
Well,
initially.
I'm not saying there's not any that hasn't happened that way.
You know, they tell them, "Oh, you're blind. You're disadvantaged."
I believe that too, but I don't think it's all of them. I think there's some that just milk it for every and I think it's the same with any kind of disability. I don't think it's just a blind thing. I think there's, and these are still sighted people with people that don't have legs, but you can't say it's a sighted thing then.
No. Well, okay, but it's
It'd be a walker thing.
No, it's a non-disabled mentality. Well, that's what it is.
Some of it can be, but I don't believe all of it is. I think there are people out there that generally, there's people that are sighted that just simply get sick with a cold or something, and they have to be babied to piss.
Oh, fuck yeah. I know.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's a non-disabled mentality. That's what I'm trying to say. That those who do not have disabilities wish they had them, and they revel in them when they finally get them. I'm not saying everybody, but
it'd be unfair to say everybody, because there are people that, and there are people that are newly blind or newly disabled or newly, whatever, paraplegics or whatever.
Right.
And they go through their pity part. Everybody goes through that. I mean.
Oh yeah.
I mean, of course you. Probably didn't in the beginning. You didn't know. It wasn't for you. It wasn't like you had sight and lost it, so you had any kind of like
reference
mourning.
Point. Well, yeah, like if I lost an arm or a leg or something, that might be a different
You're going to be
story.
depressed. You're going to go through a mourning port. You lost a part of your body or whatever, And people, even like me, when I have the operation, I'm sure there'll be a mourning part for me, because you just get sick, you get depressed, things happen.
Yeah, I'm out of commission. I can't. Well, it's like when I had my knee surgery. I hated it.
And I'm sure you had a mourning part where you just were depressed and felt bad for yourself and didn't want it.
Fuck yeah. Well, but see, the thing was, I never milked it. I actually felt like shit.
Well, see, there's a difference between milking it and just having that part that's a normal part of living.
Right. Well, I mean, I had to get help. I didn't have a choice, because there was a lot of things that were very simple that I couldn't do, being blind and hopping on one fucking leg.
Well, yeah.
So I needed a lot of help with a lot of things, and I hated it. Because
but you did it because you had no choice.
Well, of course, but you see how I'm socialized.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I'm used to being independent, and that's my shit.
But see, that's it, and that's why I've told you that before. You need to kind of change it. You really need to change it. And even if it is the sighty thing, the only one that's going to change is someone like you.
Change what, though?
Change their opinion and the way they think about shit.
But you can't.
You can.
These people are so stuck in their way of thinking.
You won't see it in your lifetime, probably. But you can start that ball rolling to where, that people start looking at it differently.
Wait a minute. Now, this is the same man that says there's no hope for society and they're fucking idiots.
Well, they are idiots.
Exactly.
And idiots are trainable. So that's why you can change it.
See, I don't. But now I've seen you on other occasions where you're like, nah, you can't change the way these people think, man. They're all morons.
Not all, no.
Especially when I start talking about bringing back common sense, and you're like, you start laughing at me.
Well,
so
you're talking about actually using your brain. We're talking about mimicking a fucking ideal. We're not talking about having them use their heads. You have to be the one to roll the ball to start that way. Don't expect them to change. People don't really change, and this people will follow. Is what I'm trying to say, I guess. So you got to start and make them follow that way of doing it.
See, but it's not my job to do that. I
well,
can.
You're right, but then it's going to be your job to just live the way it is and accept it for what it is. Because if you're saying it's the sighties, and without anybody changing them or giving them that new road to lead, you're going to keep going through this until the day you die.
Well, I mean, that's what it is. I bitch about it. I mean, there's nothing you can really do. I mean, you can attempt to educate.
You can educate the blind, the people you see, like the one you just seen tonight, and say, hey, why do you do that? And then they say, well, I had it. No, you don't need to.
Yeah, but they're so stuck in their stupid bullshit, just like sighted people are. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's that mentality that's been so. You got to understand that person is almost 60 years old.
Yeah.
That shit is ingrained, man. You can't change their way of thinking, because I mean they still think that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Feeling faces is good.
But the whole thing is you may not see the ending result of it, but maybe down the line, someone like you that comes out and actually says, hey, look, I'm capable of this. Of course, I know my limitations on certain things. I'm capable of this. This is what I'm not capable of. Treat me like a fucking human and assist when needed. You know? And you may help somebody down the line. But if you choose to only sit back and bitch and not teach, then you will only ever have that.
But you see, you try to teach, through, if sometimes you got to snap these fuckers' heads off. I guess is what the point is.
And you got to start with blind people too. You got to say, hey, look, stop doing that. You're doing that. You know what it's doing to me? It's fucking me up.
But do you know how many debates I had? Remember that blind group? I got kicked out of 2 blind groups on Facebook.
But that's what I'm saying. Why?
Because these motherfuckers, they wanted to fight with me.
They wanted to fight with you.
Yes.
And why was that? Because they wanted to be pampered. They wanted to be patronized.
Right.
And they loved it.
Oh, yeah. They enjoy their oversight.
Whether it was a site he did it to them or not, and originally, they still loved it. So it keeps that fucking that kind of fucking shit going on and on and on.
Well, that's it. That's the point. That mentality, it's allowed to exist. So as long as it's allowed to exist.
So then who needs to change it? Would it be would you go to the sighted people and try to have them change their idea, or would you have this blind people say, "Look, this is not what we need," and then that changes the way they look at blind people?
Well, but you wonder too. I mean, this goes really deep because obviously blind people are learning this from probably the sighted teachers they have,
maybe.
At these,
I mean, I can't pinpoint, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Majority maybe.
Right, at these schools, if they're at a school for the blind or an institution, shit. I mean, the mentality has changed because when I was in school, and going to camp, it was all about, I mean, of course, they did kind of baby us a little bit, but, it wasn't like it is now. I mean, when I worked for that camp for the blind, and even my one buddy was talking about this because he worked there too, and we were saying how it's changed, how they now coddle kids, and they bring back, they got this 5-foot rule. You can't be 5 feet from your camper, and you have to be on top of them all the time. So this shit is, I mean, sorry, but you can't teach everybody. I mean, the people are fucking morons, and they're just, what can you do? You can't teach somebody who doesn't want to be taught.
So then why would you do that? Most people you talk to are that are blind, do they want to be treated this way, or do they not want to be treated this way?
There's some that do really enjoy it. You're right.
But I mean, how many? Okay. I mean, being realistic here, you know a lot of blind people. I mean, not a ton, but you do know some blind people.
Yes,
And being realistic, how many of them are truly like you, and how many are the opposite, or at least have a tendency to go the other way?
Well, I mean, usually, it's kind of half and half. The ones that I consider my good friends,
right?
Are more like me, and try to be independent and that type of thing.
Right.
But I do know a lot of,
a lot of pamperers.
Pampered, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's
so then start it in your own circle. They're the ones that you guys that are out there that can and know you're able to say, stop it, knock it the fuck off.
Yeah, but you're preaching to the choir at that point because that's what they do already. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you just got to get, I mean, if you were in a fucking big goddamn fucking, say like an area, a cement area that you were down in, and on one side there was a pit full of fucking snakes, and then you guys against the wall. And one little dumb shit, or 2 of these 3 of these little people, would go over there and poke at the snakes. Now, the snakes wouldn't come around until they went and poked at them. What would you tell the ones poking them?
Well,
leave the fucking snakes alone.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. But, some are just dumb shits, and regardless, they're going to...
Right. And then eventually you're going to beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
So it comes down to where, you just got to decide who is the best to go at with this, and right. Tell them whether you're looking there to change their mind or not, you can simply make a smart ass remark, and I know you've got that in you.
Well, yeah, I do it all the time. But you know what? Instead of, going, damn, you just educated me, a lot of times sighted people get very indignant. Well, I was just trying to
But
help.
I'm not even talking about the sighted. That's why I'm saying you're going in the wrong direction. We just clarified that going the sighted direction would be the wrong way. It's the blind. You got to tell them. It's like going to a white guy and being a black man and saying, hey, this is how we need to get our freedoms back or whatever. Wrong fucking person. This is what you need to go to the black people and say, look, this is what we need to do as a society to improve ourselves.
Well, but okay, yes, you can have blind people tell them, oh yes, I'm independent, I can do this,
right.
I can do.
And then eventually it's going to catch on to they're like, hey, they don't. I mean, how many of us do we pamper you?
Yeah, but you know what? It doesn't matter. We're still retards in their mind. It doesn't matter.
But that's what I'm saying.
What we tell them,
because some of them act like retards.
Yeah, but the thing is, regardless of what we tell them, they're still got their preconceived notions. Trust me. I go to events. I'm dressed nicer than a lot of people.
But that's because they've already got that. That's what I'm saying. And that stigma that we just saw leaving here today is one of the reasons it continues.
Yes, but it's also that bullshit that they're taught and whatever.
But that's what I'm saying. If she would have went out and not did that, he would have felt stupid.
We'll be right back either way.
If you're a fan of hip-hop and R&B, join me, the Bruh Ren, for a full non-stop hour of back-to-back slappers. Back-to-back slappers. Where the playlist spans from genres like R&B, soul. R&B, soul. Hip-hop bangers like.
25 sitting on 25 mil, I'm in the building and I'm feeling myself. Rest in peace, Mac Dre. I'ma do it for the bay, okay? Getting paid, we'll holler whenever that stop. My team good, we don't really need a mascot.
Classic throwbacks like.
Well, I'm peeping and I'm creeping and I'm creeping. But I damn near got caught, cause my beeper kept beeping. Now it's time for me to make my impression felt. So sit back, relax, and strap on your seatbelt. You've never been on a ride like this before.
Every Friday night at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And Saturday at midnight Eastern Standard Time. Only on the Tough Love Show on J&J.FM.
Hey, most people don't plan to fail, but a lot of people fail to plan, and it really don't have to be like that. What you know about an IRA or a tax-deferred 401k? What you gotta pay to the government? Ever heard of a tax-exempt retirement? That's info most folks don't know. What you gonna do if you live too long? What you gonna do if you die too soon? Can your spouse afford the house? Will your family go bankrupt if you get sick? You got a plan in place to cover medical debt? I'm not talking about Advil, I'm speaking on long-term ill. You ever seen a bill from that home where Big Mama went to live? It's like $73,000 a year. How you gonna pay for that? 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 You work hard every day, but you really don't like it. You're looking at a retirement crisis. Got a good education, got a good job, got the age and the time, but still got robbed in 2008 when the market crashed. Wanna tell your boss to kiss your bus pass, but you can't cause you upside down and your savings on life support right now. Said you can't cause you upside down and your savings on life support right now. So you wake up in the morning and you put on your game face. Then you run out the house late, headed to the same place. On the bus like I'm stuck in your car like I'm stuck. What you need is a solution, more income and less confusion. What you gonna do, where you gonna go, who you gonna talk to get the info and get money? You can talk to me, you can talk to me, we got what you need, or you can join the team. Build yourself, then build your wealth by sharing what you learn with somebody else. Each one, teach one how money works. Stay compliant so nobody gets hurt. Move like a union, be ambitious. We all independent, follow the system. Move like a union, be ambitious. We all independent, follow the system. Hey, this is Travis. This song was recorded to get your attention. I have some powerful financial information that you should hear. The things that you need to put in place for a solid financial foundation in case you live too long, die too soon, if you become disabled or need to go into a home, or if you simply need access to a tax-free supplemental retirement or emergency fund. We have the information to put these proper plans in place in case any of these things happen. Contact me at my email. That's TKEETONWFG@gmail.com. That's TKEETONWFG@gmail.com. Let's set up an appointment, sit down at the kitchen table or coffee shop somewhere. I'll show you the information. If you have the need and the means, let's get it done. Or if you're looking for a business with a great compensation plan and a proven system, you should join the team. I know this business isn't for everyone, but It's one of those rare situations where if we all follow the system, it can be a win for all involved. The companies win, the clients win, or the families win, the brokers win. We're entrepreneurs, we're our own bosses. Everyone is a broker. We can make good money and travel around the world on the company's dime. Let's at least try to do it.
At last, the wait's finally over. Be Sick returns from a long hiatus with a brand new album entitled Mr. Zero Tolerance.
Available for digital download only.
Be Sick's no punches pulled approach on the mic gives listeners what they want, as well as gives the rap game a well-deserved kick in the ass, with such hard-hitting gems as the title track, Mr. Zero Tolerance.
Mr. Zero fucking tolerance, you fakes at your fun. My tongue's replacing the gun. My toleration is none. Fuck a buster and a bitch.
Or the laid-back, fun-filled street anthem entitled Change of Pace, featuring Ghost.
This is something to bump as a gift to the haters. So turn it up loud just to piss off your neighbors. And if you out rolling, you be getting a ticket. And if you
Straight to the guts, blind to the facts.
Blind to the facts that your mind's in a trap. Blind to the facts that with time we adapt. Blind to the facts of what you don't understand. Blind to the facts by the media scans. Blind to the facts of what you read in a book. Blind to the facts of
Download your copy today of Mr. Zero Tolerance from www.cdbaby.com or go to www.cdbaby.com/cd/bsick2. Download your copy today. Keep the realness in the rap game.
Yee! What up, though? It's the undeniable JT Money, a.k.a. the Bitchizer, and you tuned in to STIM Radio with Maxwell Silverhammer and GJ the Jerk Man. Heavy that. And guess what? They hate hoes almost as much as I do. So don't sleep on these cats. And speaking of sleeping, don't forget to check out my new single, Hustling, from my new project, Morning Wood. It's going down heavy, baby. And speaking of being out, I'm out like a busted traffic like you already know. Get him, Jay!
We think it's the banning of we are anonymous. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. My boy Maxwell Silverhammer and my bottom bitch Jerk Man will set you straight with some good old true shit and none of that shit that irks me. Hey Maxie baby, I still got them videos. You fill my cereal port perfectly. Bitch.
Back to the STIM radio show. We'd have been here earlier, but Maxwell Silverhammer, caretaker, didn't make it in time. But here he is, Maxwell Silverhammer.
You know, we should have had portable mics on us. I think, you know, like I said, sometimes I you know, what we talk about off the air versus what we talk about on the air. What's more exciting? You know.
Right.
So you know, yeah, and sort of as we were going to break, you know, you're right. I mean, blind people do. You know, they perpetuate the stereotype as well.
Yes, they do.
You know, so I'm not going to say, you know, sighted people do. They're a good part of it, but so are blind people in other ways too. You know, because you're right, they allow the stereotype to happen. You know, like you were making the example of the feeling the face. You know, I don't fucking care. You know, I've never seen ugly, so even if I were to feel someone's face, it's not going to do anything for me. So. You know, that was something obviously that originated from sighted people.
Well,
that's a sighted
or
concept.
It's simply, like I said, it could have been people that weren't born blind that did know that a big honking nose may not look attractive or this or that.
Right.
So they would feel the face, trying to recognize something that they remember seeing in sight when they had
like,
sight.
Oh, that nose is huge.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know, yeah, and that's somebody who, you know, who, like you said, was able to see at one time. But then you get other blind people that play into it because they're taught that. Oh, yeah, okay, that's what I got to do. Yeah, right on. And you will get some blind guys that do the let me braille you bullshit, and that actually doesn't help either.
No, you know? I won't say that it would.
I mean, if I'm going to grope a chick, I'm groping a chick because I'm horny. Right. You know, it has nothing to do with I'm a blind person and I got to feel you.
Right.
You know,
but,
I don't care about that
but
shit.
see, then there should be the there should be a known thing to say, hey, look, if I've been blind since birth, I'm not going to know the difference, so it doesn't matter. Now, if you're having someone that's seen for maybe 20 years and suddenly went blind and may have a concept of what they would find to be ugly or how they would find a face to be because they've seen them before and can recognize certain things, and with feel, they could probably feel some things that may be recognizable to them, then understandable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I get that. I totally dig that. So, it is a two-way street. I'll give you that because, blind people got to, and believe me, I get just as mad at blind people that feed into the stereotype. You know what I'm saying? I mean, trust me, it's not a, the sight man got me oppressed.
No, I know that.
But at the same time, I know a lot of that shit does come from sighted people. A lot of blind people are taught by other sighted people.
Once again, too, you're asking somebody now. Okay, walking is a certain thing that somebody could teach somebody because there's still sight involved. There's, and they could say, hey, look, you can show them where the legs are. You can do this. You can kind of understand because you lay down, your legs may not work at times. You can kind of be a little bit more understanding of how it would feel. But you can't ever, unless you're blind for a long period of time, know what it's truly like because you know stepping and what stepping's about.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's like to walk through an entire planet blind. Even if you close your eyes for 5 minutes and walk around a room, you still haven't went outside. You haven't dealt with traffic. You haven't dealt, walking, it's either you get up or you don't get the fuck up.
Right, exactly. Well, and here's the thing, too. I don't know why there's so many ignorant people, in a lot of these blind organizations. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that work for disabled organizations, see you as, and G Motors made a good point one time, especially in medical.
G Motors did? How the hell did he do that?
Oh man, listen to this one. Well, he was saying, because I was talking about like at doctors' offices. Sometimes,
fuck you, Kirkman.
I'm waiting for that. If he's logged on yet to figure out we're doing a show.
The longer he stays in Mississippi, the dumber he's going to get.
Hey man, are y'all doing a show tonight?
I was trying to tune you in and accidentally touched the crocodile's anus hole and it bit my hands off.
Shit, I got my antenna lodged up the crocodile's colon. So, where the fuck was my... okay. So G Motors had said, because I was like, man, why at doctor's offices do I get SMJ'd so badly? It seems like that's some of the worst treatment I get.
I think they're worried about suing.
Well, here's what G Motors said, and this is brilliant. He said they look at blindness as an illness, not a disability. So in other words, you're sick. Yeah. You need to be in bed or something, rather than, hey, well, this is just your disability and this is how you get around. You know what I'm saying?
It's very well possible.
That's why I was like, well, shit, dude. I never. So I thought that was a pretty fucking brilliant.
It's a profound statement from him.
See, that's it. Now all of a sudden you're in Mississippi and you're going to be like, hi, man.
Nothing you can do about it. Nothing he can do. He's just going to be a dum-dum. Nah, I'm not saying everybody in Mississippi's stupid. Just 3-4%.
Just people that move there?
Yeah. People that move there. Exactly right.
I'm trying to get a text here. So, anyway, if he's figured out that we're doing a show.
Yeah, that's if he's even figured it out.
Wow. Okay. So, yeah, that's the... But like we were saying off the air, hey, I think a lot of these people who are working with the disabled populations, the problem is they don't have empathy, they have sympathy.
Well, there's a lot of disconnect when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If you cannot sit here and know what I go through having cancer.
Shit, no.
And I can't truly know what you go through being blind.
Absolutely not.
So all I can do is sit back and think of what it may be like, but I will truly not know. So I can either have sympathy or empathy, either one, or a combination of the two at certain points.
However, having said this, and I know what you're going to say, at one time, I worked on the rape crisis hotline.
Yeah.
Well, I'd never been raped, but at the same time, based on the training and the shit that that they taught us.
Okay, but be honest right now, and I know you'll do this.
Okay.
How many times was there ever somebody that called up and you thought, you know what? If they talked to you, thought maybe you deserved it.
No, you know what? Actually, there wasn't anybody that. I never got any. Well, I was drunk at a party and I was dressed like a whore, and none of that. It was always, a lot of child abuse shit.
Stories,
actually.
Right?
Yeah. So
you could empathize with that, but you really couldn't.
No, I couldn't. Well,
you could, but you couldn't. It didn't happen to you.
Well, let's see. I could empathize, but I
couldn't sympathize.
Sympathize, couldn't sympathize because I hadn't been through it.
So
obviously.
see, for there, you kicked in empathy instead of sympathy.
Right, exactly.
Which they may have needed a little sympathy, but for you, you couldn't do that because you were unable to. You couldn't connect to that.
Exactly, and that's what I think. More of these people see. That's the problem.
So did you ever think? Okay, so you can't pretend to be raped in your own head and feel empathy or sympathy for or empathy for somebody.
Right.
But you can, and a lot of people do this, and you know this for a fact, that have sight will close their eyes and walk around, and all of a sudden they think they've got empathy.
Right.
When it's truly sympathy.
It's exactly. It's a false sense of sympathy.
False sense of
That's what it is. So they're like, oh, I know how it is. Oh, fuck, trust me. I've had people tell me, I wear glasses, bro. I know what it's like.
Well, see, and that's what I'm saying. So for that, you couldn't feel sympathy. It didn't happen to you. You couldn't even pretend to make it happen.
No, absolutely
so
not.
you had no choice but to feel empathy.
That's all I could do.
Right.
And
so these people think they can feel empathy when it's truly sympathy because they've tried it and think that that's what it's all about.
And it's a false sense of sympathy.
A false sense of it.
I mean, I would rather have somebody just be, understand it. See, with empathy, at least you've got a full understanding of this shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas sympathy, it's like, nah, you're bullshit. Because it's not real. You've never been there. So don't tell me you know how it is.
So, and that's what I'm saying. So there you go. So now, I mean, that kind of explains it a little bit better, I guess.
I mean, maybe not know how it is, but hey, understand how it is.
Right.
That's how you got to,
And they think that because they close their eyes, and how many people have you heard say that? Oh, I closed my eyes, dude, and I couldn't even do it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, yeah, because you knew at the end you could open your fucking eyes.
Right. You weren't stuck in that position.
So, do they have a chance to have empathy? No. They saw sympathy because they couldn't do it. So, how can you?
Right. Exactly. So, it's the same kind of shit.
Same shit.
So, yeah. And that's a lot of these. These people a lot of these people who work with, the senior populations and what, they're all a bunch of fucking do-gooders.
Yeah.
They think that they're doing something good. They get up and they give these, major political speeches
right.
of, how their heart bleeds so deeply for the senior community. They don't give a fuck.
No.
I've seen these people leaving them with dirty diapers and, all kinds of bad shit.
Once again, here we go. You can't make yourself get old.
No.
You can't imagine what it's like to get old until you are fucking old.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can pretend. So what are you going to have? Empathy or sympathy?
You're going to have empathy.
Yeah.
Hopefully you do.
You would hopefully have it, but I think a lot of them come from more with a sympathy.
They're trying to get sympathy.
Yeah, they're walking more of a sympathy look at it, like, oh man, I feel bad for you, you got old, man. But they really can't get that because to them, old is a disease to people.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, yeah. God, yeah. You're definitely, that's somebody the other day, as a matter of fact, a driver picked me up from it was a senior living complex where they had a networking breakfast.
Right.
And when she picked me up, the first thing she said was, oh, you live over here now? And I'm like, no.
You live at the old folks' home?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, because I'm blind, I must be a senior citizen, too.
Right.
And I get a lot of that. It's either I'm a senior citizen or I'm a 2-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's a false sense of sympathy that these people have, when really they need to try for the empathy, not for the sympathy.
And because old age is something that's going to happen to everybody, they can walk away from it. Even if they try to pretend to be sympathetic, they don't care. Most of them don't really care because they don't have to.
It's false.
Because they may not ever go blind. They may not ever lose the use of their legs. They may not ever have this or that. They may not ever be raped. But they are all going to get old.
Yeah. So you're going to have something different.
So they'll be like, hey, it's going to happen to me someday. So when it gets even old, so old people don't even get probably empathy or sympathy unless it's somebody that really does truly care. And maybe it's because they've been through a family member that got old and they had a disease and they've seen it. Then they feel empathy and sympathy, maybe.
Maybe, yeah, as a second, what they call them secondary victims.
Yeah. Because they think, oh God, there goes me someday.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my grandmother had dementia. So, now when I talk to people that have family members that have dementia, I'm like, oh, fuck, I can really sympathize because I've been there. I've been that secondary victim with a family member. But now, at the same time, I've never, never really had to deal. Well, I mean, I've dealt with you, but never really dealt with anybody that's had a stroke and had to live with them.
Right.
And what needs to be done and shit like that.
Right. Like we said, I'm like a fucking don't know what the hell I am, but I hit this shit and I come right back out of it. Most of the
that's
time.
what I'm saying. I'm amazed at your resilience here.
Yeah.
At being able to bounce back so quick.
Yeah, we'll see after this next one.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It just seems like you. I've seen you have some shit that I'm going, man. This fucker should be in a hospital, right?
He's still going.
What the hell's he doing here at work?
But you have empathy. Bottom line.
Yeah.
Even though you haven't been through it, you can have that empathy to relate to it.
Right, because I've been around you.
Right.
And
Right.
Prior to that, I may not have had that empathy.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So I think a lot of it comes from what you think and what you deal with. Something that, like I said, blind people, you just aren't going to. They get the sympathy part of it because that's something they think they can temporarily experience, and this is what it's about. It's hell to them. So they feel sympathy for you, not empathy for you.
Well, there's a false sense of sympathy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
and so it's
false,
not even
obviously.
It's not even real sympathy. So it's like,
No, they don't
try for the empathy, not for the sympathy.
Right, and for them, they wouldn't know that.
Oh, I think your mom's at the door.
No, she's in.
Oh,
but they wouldn't know that because they experienced it. They closed their eyes and walked around a room.
Oh yeah, dude. Or they were blindfolded at a birthday party one time.
and pinned a tail on the wrong fucking donkey or something. So
Right.
them right there, like, oh my god,
I couldn't do that.
They're
man.
automatically going to jump to sympathy.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and this is the hard part, when you're trying to educate sighted people.
I mean, I don't feel sorry for you. Fuck you.
Well, good. I'm glad.
I mean, I empathize with you on certain things. You know that.
Right.
But to feel sorry for you, I don't do that.
No, I mean, if I'm just like, I can't do it, man.
It happened. It happened to you. It's something you've dealt with. Yeah. I didn't deal with it. It's something you dealt with. I can understand where you're probably coming from in some things. I mean, I would not want to lose my sight. There's empathy. Yeah. I would not want to, deal with some of the things you deal with. Right. But I don't feel sorry for you for you about it.
No, exactly. And I could tell that. Where some people, you could tell they're just oozing with pity, for you, and you're just like, why do you fucking pity me? Now, the other thing, this is another thing that gets me with sighted people, is they think you're not aware of your capabilities. So when you tell them I can do this, they go, well, I better do it for you though. It's like, well, why? Obviously, why would I do something that's going to endanger myself? You know what I'm saying?
Because they don't think you can see it's going to endanger yourself.
See, and that's it. So they're back on that shit again. So
I mean, obviously, if I saw you fucking walking out on the goddamn road and you didn't know a car was coming, I would fucking yell, "Hey, fuck a car!"
Yeah.
Because that's just an accident. I mean, that's just an accident waiting to happen, whether you're sighted or not, and you didn't see the fucking car.
No, I know, like, Cockatiel. This just reminded me of Cockatiel's story that she always tells about, when she was in San Francisco and she saw the blind woman and she looked like she needed help, but Cockatiel was afraid to go help her because she's used to how I jump on her all the time for shit.
Right.
And I'm like, well, if she looked like she needed help.
If she looked like she needed help, you help the person, or at least ask them.
Well, and that's what I told her. I said, it doesn't hurt to go up and ask. And she's like, yeah, but then I don't want to get chewed out. And I'm like, well, so what the fuck you get chewed out?
So you use your brain and you simply stay inside your own little head. This person looks distressed. They look like they're, and you would do that for anybody, that whether they had sight or whatever. If you've seen somebody that looked like they're in some sort of stressful situation, obviously there was no control, you might come up and say, hey, do you need some help?
Right, that's all you got.
Whether they be blind, crippled, or just a fucking regular person with nothing wrong.
See, and I don't mind if someone asks, matter of fact, there was something yesterday. Oh, that's what it was. I went to the pool for a little bit when I got home.
Right.
And, no, actually, I'm sorry. That was Sunday when this happened. And, there were a bunch of chairs by the side of the pool, and I'm trying to trail the pool edge.
Right.
So this girl and her boyfriend, I guess, came in the pool, and she asked me, she was like, do you need some help? I said, no, I got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
And then that was it. But,
she just simply saw you trying to do something, didn't know if you needed help. But
Right.
you would do that to somebody even saw with sight.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen people moving stuff around and could do. You're like, hey, you need some help moving that stuff?
Or, if I hear someone struggling, I might say, do you need some help? So, there's nothing wrong with asking if you need some help. But it's when the person says, no, I'm fine. And then you go, no. You look like you're having trouble. Here, let me do it for you.
You keep insisting when they say they're fine.
Yes, exactly. Because obviously what you're saying is
You're
not
incapable of doing it.
Right, exactly. You have a false sense of confidence, and you're too stupid to understand that your confidence is false.
I mean, I've done that with you a couple of times, and I will admit this right now. I mean, I have actually, when you've ordered pizza, I was like, hey, man, you need some help with that? You're like, no. I'm like, oh, no, seriously, do you need some help with that? And I eat a part of your fucking pizza.
What?
No, Jesus. This guy's like, he's blind. He doesn't know any better.
That was a bad joke.
It was working at one.
We'll be right back.
It's a work in fucking progress, okay?
Yeah, but work on it harder.
If you're a fan of hip-hop and R&B, join me, the Bruh Ren, for a full non-stop hour of back-to-back slappers. Back-to-back slappers. Where the playlist spans from genres like R&B, soul. Hip-hop bangers like 25 sitting on 25 mil, I'm in the building and I'm feeling myself. Rest in peace, Mac Dre. I'ma do it for the bay, okay? Getting paid, we'll holler whenever that stop. My team good, we don't really need a mascot. Classic throwbacks, life.
Well, I'm peeping and I'm creeping and I'm creeping. But I damn near got caught, cause my beeper kept beeping. Now it's time for me to make my impression felt. So sit back, relax, and strap on your seatbelt. You've never been on a ride like this before.
Every Friday night at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And Saturday at midnight Eastern Standard Time. Only on the Tough Love Show on JNJ.FM.
Hey, most people don't plan to fail, but a lot of people fail to plan, and it really don't have to be like that. What you know about an IRA or a tax-deferred 401k? What you gotta pay to the government? Ever heard of a tax-exempt retirement? That's info most folks don't know. What you gonna do if you live too long? What you gonna do if you die too soon? Can your spouse afford the house? Will your family go bankrupt if you get sick? You got a plan in place to cover medical debt. I'm not talking about Advil, I'm speaking on long-term ill. You ever seen a bill from that home where Big Mama went to live? It's like $73,000 a year. How you gonna pay for that? 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 You work hard every day, but you really don't like it. You're looking at a retirement crisis. Got a good education, got a good job, got the age and the time, but still got robbed in 2008 when the market crashed. Wanna tell your boss to kiss your bus pass, but you can't cause you upside down and your savings on life support right now. Said you can't cause you upside down and your savings on life support right now. So you wake up in the morning and you put on your game face. Then you run out the house late, headed to the same place. On the bus like I'm stuck in your car like I'm stuck. What you need is a solution, more income and less confusion. What you gonna do, where you gonna go, who you gonna talk to get the info and get money. You can talk to me, you can talk to me. We got what you need, or you can join the team. Build yourself, then build your wealth by sharing what you learn with somebody else. Each one, teach one how money works. Stay compliant so nobody gets hurt. Move like a union, be ambitious. We all independent, follow the system. Move like a union, be ambitious. We all independent, follow the system. Hey, this is Travis. This song was recorded to get your attention. I have some powerful financial information that you should hear. The things that you need to put in place for a solid financial foundation in case you live too long, die too soon, if you become disabled or need to go into a home, or if you simply need access to a tax-free supplemental retirement or emergency fund. We have the information to put these proper plans in place in case any of these things happen. Contact me at my email. That's TKEETONWFG@gmail.com. That's TKEETONWFG@gmail.com. Let's set up an appointment, sit down at the kitchen table or coffee shop somewhere. I'll show you the information. If you have the need and the means, let's get it done. Or If you're looking for a business with a great compensation plan and a proven system, you should join the team. I know this business isn't for everyone, but it's one of those rare situations where if we all follow the system, it can be a win for all involved. The companies win, the clients win, or the families win, the brokers win. We're entrepreneurs, we're our own bosses. Everyone is a broker. We can make good money and travel around the world on the company's dime. Let's at least try to do it.
At last, the wait's finally over. Be Sick returns from a long hiatus with a brand new album entitled Mr. Zero Tolerance.
Available for digital download only.
Be Sick's no punches pulled approach on the mic gives listeners what they want, as well as gives the rap game a well-deserved kick in the ass, with such hard-hitting gems as the title track, Mr. Zero Tolerance.
Mr. Zero fucking tolerance, you fakes at your fun. My tongue's replacing the gun. My toleration is none. Fuck a buster and a bitch.
Or the laid-back, fun-filled street anthem entitled Change of Pace, featuring Ghost.
This is something to bump as a gift to the haters. So turn it up loud just to piss off your neighbors. And if you out rolling, you be getting a ticket. And if you
straight to the guts, blind to the facts.
Blind to the facts that your mind's in a trap. Blind to the facts that with time we adapt. Blind to the facts of what you don't understand. Blind to the facts by the media scans. Blind to the facts of what you read in a book. Blind to the facts of
Download your copy today of Mr. Zero Tolerance from www.cdbaby.com or go to www.cdbaby.com/cd/bsick2. Download your copy today. Keep the realness in the rap game.
Yee! What up, though? It's the undeniable JT Money, a.k.a. the Bitchizer, and you tuned in to STIM Radio with Maxwell Silverhammer and GJ the Jerk Man. Heavy that. And guess what? They hate hoes almost as much as I do. So don't sleep on these cats. And speaking of sleeping, don't forget to check out my new single, Hustling, from my new project, Morning Wood. It's going down heavy, baby. And speaking of being out, I'm out like a busted traffic, like you already know. Get him, Jay!
We think it's the banning of
We are anonymous. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. My boy Maxwell Silverhammer and my bottom bitch jerk man will set you straight with some good all true shit and none of that shit that irks me. Hey Maxie baby, I still got them videos. You fill my cereal port perfectly. Bitch.
Back to the STIM Radio Show with the man behind the mic is actually proud of himself. He only hit 4 out of 5 walls on the way back here. Maxwell Silverhammer.
Yeah, isn't that good? My false sense of confidence. So, we got Hamster joining us.
Hello, hello, hello.
And we had a little debate today on Facebook.
Was that a little debate?
Oh, yeah. And then a few my friends jumped into it.
Yeah,
and,
I saw that.
And, well, here's my thing. Why are we giving kids graduation parties or graduation ceremonies for kids graduating kindergarten and 5th grade and shit like that? Shouldn't they be waiting till it's the real graduation, like their senior year?
Okay, well, really, you know, I thought about it too. Because when I was younger, you
never had that, did you?
No, they didn't have that. Well, I never went to kindergarten, so, we didn't. We went from 1st grade to 6th grade. That was elementary.
Elementary, yeah.
And then you went 7th grade to 9th grade, and then you went 10th grade. Wait, what was it?
Actually,
or 6th? Yeah.
That's how it was out here too.
Was it?
But the funny thing, see, the school I went to was kindergarten through 5th. Then most kids went to what were called 6th grade centers.
Oh.
But they were no 6th grade centers that had the VH program. So I was actually bused to another elementary school that continued, that went kindergarten through 6th. And so I went there for 1 year for my 6th grade year. And then for 7th, 8th, and 9th, it was junior high, and 10th, 11th, and 12th was high school.
Yeah.
So that's how they had done it for me. But, I mean, we never had any kind of graduation celebrations or ceremonies until senior year.
I think a lot of things have changed so much, and a lot of people, if you think about it, Maxwell, a lot of the people nowadays are into the frilly You know,
that's the problem.
The thing is, there's not a lot of time spent with your children, okay? And a lot of parents, because I was thinking about some of the things you said and trying to figure out how you came to your conclusion and why I have my difference of opinion, because I looked at it like, okay, you know, I too, when I first heard there was a graduation, I thought, wait a minute here, you don't graduate 5th grade, you know, I don't understand all this stuff. But then after I got to the graduation, I understood it a little bit better. It's kind of like, I don't know, kids nowadays don't have what they used to have. Before, like I was telling on the show before, that parents were parents. You know, the kids, the kids went and you there was a standard that you followed, and probably like yours too. You waited until you got into high school, and that's when your graduation was. There wasn't any graduation at the beginning. You know, you didn't have all this frilly whatever.
But that's it. You worked towards this. You know, it was a long time coming, but you knew, all right, I got to do this long haul. It's going to be a pain in the ass, but you did it.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't fight it. You didn't go, oh, I just, you know, and the kids that dropped out, and because for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying?
Well, like I was talking to my grandson about it, I said, you know, when we went from 1st grade to 6th grade, okay, and then 6th grade, when you got to 6th grade, you got to be this big person in school, you know, because you figured you made it all the way up to 6th grade. You were a
big man on campus.
Yeah, big man on campus. And then they would have a 6th grade party, and that was how they did it. They would take you on a trip or something.
And that was fine.
Yes.
That was you know, they did that for us too, I think. You know, they took us for pizza, you know, for a few of us and shit. But, well, you know, which is fine. Those are good. But when they turn it into this whole, it's not a graduation. You know, you reward them. All right, you got through the 6th grade. Pretty cool, you know, whatever. Like I said, you saw my example, you know, in junior high, I made the honor roll all 3 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, I got an award for that. That's cool.
Yeah.
But not everybody in that junior high got, all right, you're graduating junior high. Way to go. You know.
Yeah. I thought it was that way too until I went to my grandson's school and they were having the 5th grade graduation, and I couldn't figure out how are they presenting a graduation. What do they mean by a graduation? Usually it's just you succeeded up to the 6th grade and you're moving on to the next level, which is making you a young adult, you know, a young adult, really, if you think about it. Yeah. But when I saw the school and what they did, I was astonished. I was really astonished. These kids, the 6th grade class, the whole percentage of 6th grade class got every award there was. There was only 1 or 2 kids out of a class of, I don't know, 6, 7 classes that didn't get anything. Only 1 or 2 kids. And why that was, I'm not quite sure. But these kids got top honors.
Well, see, but did all of them have, in fact, top honors? Probably not.
No, all of them did. All of them did. Straight A's. They were straight A students. They could recite the Constitution. They could recite every single president there ever was. They could recite, oh my God, the things that they were talking about. I was like, I never, ever heard of stuff like this. And this wasn't just a couple. When I graduated...
It may have just been a while. You know, I forget a lot of what I was taught when I was in school.
Yeah.
You know.
But the thing is, when I was in school, you went through your stuff, and when people went up, you had your your super smart kids that got all these awards. They were really considered geeks, if you want to think of it that way. Then you had your kids that excelled in sports, and then you had but you didn't have a whole class. You only had a certain amount of kids that excelled in academics, or and the awards were just.
Well, was this maybe just his was he in like they used to call it academically talented?
No,
when I was in school.
No, he isn't.
So he's not in one of those.
No,
because I'm thinking, well, okay, if they give all the academically talented kids awards, that makes sense. But is this the whole school's getting some kind of
the 6th grades, the whole 6th, every kid in the 6th grade classes? I have never, ever in my entire life ever seen kids on the lower side of town, which you consider, that would not be in that classification, because you think of kids that are not in a that certain, you have your 5-star schools, your 4-star schools, and whatever, and you have so many kids, just like any place, that you only have maybe a handful of kids that get awards.
I don't remember schools having 5 stars, 3 stars, or 2 stars when I was a kid.
Well,
that's it.
Yeah, they didn't, but this was a school that it totally blew my mind. I mean, seriously blew my mind. These kids, you couldn't have believed it. Every one of them had awards and everything.
But why is that though? See, obviously it's rewarding them for everything. It's like.
But they were smart. They were smart. How many
but
of
they
us
earn those awards?
Yes. How many of us can recite everything? Recite everything. The Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, knows every single president there ever was, what their jobs were, everything that they did. I mean, these were 6th graders or 5th graders that were telling. I didn't even know half the stuff they were talking about. Yeah. That's how bad it was. And I'm thinking, okay, a couple kids are going to go up. No, these were classes of complete, like 15 to 20 kids, every single kid getting an award. Every single kid. It was academics. It wasn't about sports. It wasn't about it.
Well, that's it though. We're that's what I'm trying to figure out, because I got a feeling not all those kids were sharp and could nail the Constitution, and I'm sure if you pulled them out and said, recite this shit.
Oh, I have to tell you, Maxwell, I'm telling you, I thought the same thing too. But no, those kids were. There was one kid there that I looked at and I thought, oh, that kid's a character. He's a character. He's not going to get anything. He got all of the top awards. He got every single award there was for perfectionism.
Maybe,
every single one.
See, but it should be an academic, because they're treating it like it's a graduation, when really it should be for academic achievement.
Well, I think what happens is because of the way things have changed nowadays, that they just, everything has changed. It hasn't, like George said, the 3-star, 3-star, 2-star.
Yeah.
The government has put so much pressure on schools to become perfect and to go through.
I think it's the opposite. I think they want to actually dumb the kids down.
Well, in some places, yeah, but this school didn't seem to, abide by that. They just went their course, and they wanted to show that they were a top-notch school. And, of course, to get what they need to do, they have to have top-notch students. It was kind of like a charter school to me, but it wasn't. I was just really taken back by it, and I didn't understand it. And truthfully, those kids really don't understand graduation, because they're in 5th grade, okay?
Well, that's it.
They're not understanding as a graduation as it was just something to give them.
I don't think I understood graduation when it was time to graduate.
Yeah.
Even in my senior year, I saw it as, oh, God, why do I got to put on the stupid fucking cap and gown bullshit? I thought it was an unnecessary thing at the time, but now looking back, I do appreciate that ceremony, going, damn, that was like me celebrating 12 years, 13 years really, of going to school, so I did appreciate it then. So, it may take time to kick in, but, initially, you're right. I wasn't, I'm like, I'm a punk ass little 17-year-old kid. What do I know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, like me, I was going through school and I'm going, okay, I don't really have to cut into the books, and really what we were taught back then was just your basic, you had like you're a kid and you're taught certain things up to preschool, and then you go through preschool and they teach you just the minimum things, then you go to 2nd grade and 3rd grade, 1st grade, whatever, and every step was like baby steps, but they were baby steps. It wasn't anything that was like, oh my God, I got to be top honor student, or, you had your kids that were a little smarter, kids that weren't as smart. You had your clowns, you had, different different classification of kids in a school, but it wasn't like you were pressured like you got when you got into higher grades.
But this is strange now because knowing you guys, and I know that there's been a little history. I don't know, was this the same grandson that's had some issues with the school?
Yes.
So what were the issues originally? It was just that he couldn't.
Well, I'll tell you what the issues is with my grandson. The issues with my grandson is he is he's 300 in Nevada as one of the smartest kids.
Okay, so he's actually pretty smart.
So what happened is, because he's in a classroom with kids that are not in the same, how do you put it, in the same academic
ability
as he is, he gets bored.
Okay.
So he's in there and he's bored. Well, the teachers don't know what to do with him. And the stuff is so easy for him to do that as soon as he accomplishes it, he's bored because he has to wait for the other kids to catch up.
Yeah.
And so he gets bored and he gets up and he walks around the room and it's kind of like, oh my God, can't we get past this? Can't we move along or something? If you're ahead of your class, it has to be frustrating to sit there and not be able to communicate with the other kids because you're waiting for them to catch up with you when you've already done it.
Right.
So what happens is he gets up and he walks around. Well, then they tell him to sit down, and he's already frustrated and bored because there's nothing else for him to do. He's already accomplished what he needed to do in a couple minutes.
Right.
So he acts out. So he'd run out of the classroom, or he'd do something, and so they classified him as a kid with disruptive behaviors. So he was supposed to go to a school. He was accepted at a school for academically, gifted kids. However, because he acted out a couple times and the teacher reported him as is running out of the room and blah, 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 instead of looking at the behavior as the reason he has this behavior is because, he's not being stimulated enough in this class and he needs a better class. Instead of that, they put him in a behavior school.
Well, see, that's it. Now, all of a sudden, it goes from, oh, your kid's very disruptive to, oh, he's one of the smartest kids, and now they're giving him graduations and weird stuff. And
yeah, well, the reason he went to graduation is because he was only in that school for a short period of time, and he did what he needed to do in that short period of time to meet their criteria for what they do for graduation. So but as far as his behaviors and stuff, he went there. They have special classes, for behavior issues.
Some of it might even just be the wording, because I don't believe they used. Now thinking back, there was something when I was in 6th grade that all of us did, where we stood. I remember we were outside on the playground. Our parents came to watch.
Okay, like a ceremony or something.
Kind of, yeah. We had to recite the the Constitution. We of the government for the people, by the people.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we did have to do that. I remember that, and that was towards the end of my 6th grade year. But I don't think they called it graduation.
No. I've never. This is the first time I've ever heard.
See, and this is
in all the years of anybody saying, "Okay, you're graduating." Well,
right.
They make people graduate from everything now. If you go to kindergarten, you're graduating to first.
Right.
That's and I understand. And I understand what you're saying as far as graduation, but that's what it's called nowadays. So it's just a terminology that's used, and I think it's to give the kids an incentive to think. Kids nowadays are more grown up than they were years ago. When we were kids, our parents I didn't know anything about adult life.
You know what? I think it balances out, though, because there's some things that some kids can't even do when they become adults. Like now all of a sudden, you got kids that, don't want to move out of their parents' house, or that want to, live off the.
I think that has to do with the time, and I understand what you're saying. There are, a small majority of people that could be in that category, and some of them I understand, yeah. But for the majority, the situation, the lifestyle, the situation, the way things are, I see so many kids who are more grown up than what their parents are. I mean,
there's
they
definitely
take care,
some
they
immature
take,
ass parents, no
they
doubt.
take care of their kids, their siblings. They're taking care of their siblings while their parents are doing drugs.
I mean, there were kids, but there were kids like that when I was growing up too. But the thing was, this is, and I mean, okay, I'll give you an example here with like my assistant here at work. You know, he's great and everything, but we're talking the other day. He's like, you know, he just got back from being out of town in Oregon.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about August and some of the events in August, and he goes, "Oh, I might be out of town then." And I'm thinking, are you fucking kidding me? You know, when I was his age, I was happy to have a job. And I didn't dare go on vacation. It's just something, you know, it was like, oh man, I'm not going to leave my job. I don't want to take any days off. That was my discipline. Where now they don't think twice because there's so much entitlement, because they think that jobs are a right, not a privilege.
Because they were taught that. They're taught that. And I'll tell you how they're taught that. When I first came here in 2000, I got a job as an assistant to it was called a courtesy patrol. It was security that went out and did whatever, and I was the administrative assistant. And I would have people, these are grown people, not kids. These are grown people calling me up and saying, I'm not coming into work today. And I said, oh, are you sick? No, I just don't want to work today.
And they would straight up tell you that.
I'm like...
Well, see, and this is the problem.
Then I'd go to my boss, and I said to my boss, so-and-so just called me, and he's not coming in today because he doesn't want to come in, but he'll see me tomorrow maybe. And I said, what are you going to do about it? He said, nothing. He said, when he comes in, he says, just put him back on the job. So that job allowed him and did not hold this guy accountable.
Well,
and I think that's what happened when we were younger. We were held accountable. If you didn't go to work, then you didn't.
You lost your job.
You lost your job. But
especially
now they don't.
If you say something like that.
But the jobs don't do that. He should have been fired.
Absolutely.
I said he needs to be fired. When I told my boss from back home, she came out to visit, and I said, can you believe some of this stuff out here? I can't believe I'm hearing it. These people come in and work if they want to. If they don't want to work, they don't come in, but you still take them back. I said, how do they keep a job? And the companies keep them on. So who do you blame? You know, that is the way they are taught. They are taught.
That's right. They're taught that it's happy all the time. That's fun.
So kids grow up thinking that. You've got the kids that take on the responsibility of the parents because the mother runs away and decides she wants to take off and she doesn't want to take care of her parental, obligations as far as her kids. Or kids stay home, take care of themselves. I know many kids that are 5 and 6 years old that take care of their 2 and 3 year old brothers and babies.
Right.
And the parent just leaves for a couple weeks.
Well,
just takes off and leaves. So, what's that kid supposed to do? That kid learns to survive. Just like if you take an animal out in the wild, it will learn to survive or it will die.
Well, and there were kids like that in our day. I mean, that wasn't unheard of.
Yeah, there were some, but that was not the norm. That was not the norm. When you heard of something like that, you right away, just like you get child services involved. Now child services turn their head and say, well, this is norm.
Kids are calling child services.
Well, yeah,
that
because it's the
never
norm.
happened. But, and now keep in mind, I know you and I are from two different generations, obviously.
Right.
So it may have been a little more common, say, in my generation.
Yes.
But you still, kids still did what, you either, that's the point. You either survive or you don't.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a survival of the fittest. Where now it's like, oh, we're going to hold your hand. Oh, all right, you passed you passed first grade. It's going to be a ceremony. It's going to be graduation. No, you got to understand that there is a pot at the end of the rainbow.
Well, there's so many kids that don't have any positives. So the school, from what I gather, the school is trying to give kids an incentive to change what they were taught, to change what they go home to. There are so many kids.
See, I don't think they care that much.
Once they, it's some do, some don't. This isn't all schools.
These are the same people that make your kids sit out and fill out surveys. The story you guys told me that one time about, they got the kids doing surveys in the hallway.
But this is government. This isn't.
There you go. I don't think they care that much.
It's the government. but the thing, it's not that the teacher doesn't care. It's what they're held responsible for.
What they're told to do.
What they're told to do. A teacher only can do so much, and they're taught more to worry about what scores they're getting than for teaching a kid what they need to teach. And if you try to do that, they frown on you as a teacher, and you lose your job, and they put somebody else in.
I already know. So, but at the same time, now all of a sudden they're so caring, and they have this heart of gold.
No, it's not caring. It's not a heart of gold. It's just some schools have decided to buck the system. They're plain and simple. They chose to buck the system, and some of them have chose to
I don't know.
Make it go the other way. Try to make it look like they're doing what they need to do.
There's a lot of schools that are doing that, though. As a matter of fact, the guy I had on last night, I just saw something he posted, I think it was yesterday or today, and he said, "Congratulations to all the 8th graders. You did it. You made it through." And I'm going, well, come on, man. Dude,
Well, see, they got to give these kids incentives. You grow up in a life with these kids have grown up, and they don't eat during the summertime. They have no food. Once school is out, the only meal these kids get are the meals that are provided to them at school. And then when they go home all summer long, there's kids that don't eat. They don't have any food in their house because they don't have any parents. They don't have anybody there taking care of them. So the community has to go out, and they will provide in a park meals.
Right. No,
One
I know.
meal a day. So these kids are getting an incentive to say, hey, even though your life is bad, it doesn't have to be. If you excel, and the only way to give anybody any positiveness, you have to give them positive. You can't
But I don't
put
think
them
a
down.
graduation. I don't think a false graduation after kindergarten is gonna improve all that.
Well, they're too young to understand that graduation should only be for when you get at the end of the end of the road.
That's what. But now they're thinking, oh, I should get a graduation. So now you're gonna have kids that grow up, and they go into the workplace, and if their boss isn't giving them accolades every day, then their boss is an asshole and
I don't think
hostile
so.
work environment and all this other shit.
I don't think so. I think if you get enough positives, it's like with anything else. If you have a mind of your own, you know right from wrong. If you're taught right from wrong, you know if what you're doing is right or wrong. When that guy decided he wasn't coming into work, that was a choice he made. So he decided that he could get away with that, and he didn't think enough of himself to be responsible. And what we're trying to be is, if you give kids enough positives, because they've got so many negatives, that maybe they won't turn out like
we'll be right back. Save your thought.
If you're a fan of hip-hop and R&B, join me, the Bruh Ren, for a full non-stop hour of back-to-back slappers. Back-to-back slappers. Where the playlist spans from genres like R&B, soul. Hip-hop bangers like
25 sitting on 25 mil, I'm in the building and I'm feeling myself. Rest in peace, Mac Dre. I'ma do it for the bay, okay? Getting paid, we'll holler whenever that stop. My team good, we don't really need a mascot.
Classic throwbacks like.
Well, I'm peeping and I'm creeping and I'm creeping. But I damn near got caught, cause my beeper kept beeping. Now it's time for me to make my impression felt. So sit back, relax, and strap on your seatbelt. You've never been on a ride like this before.
Every Friday night at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And Saturday at midnight Eastern Standard Time. Only on the Tough Love Show on JNJ.FM.
Hey, most people don't plan to fail, but a lot of people fail to plan, and it really don't have to be like that. What you know about an IRA or a tax-deferred 401k? What you gotta pay to the government? Ever heard of a tax-exempt retirement? That's info most folks don't know. What you gonna do if you live too long? What you gonna do if you die too soon? Can your spouse afford the house? Will your family go bankrupt if you get sick? You got a plan in place to cover medical debt? I'm not talking about Advil, I'm speaking on long-term ill. You ever seen a bill from that home where Big Mama went to live? It's like $73,000 a year. How you gonna pay for that? 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 You work hard every day, but you really don't like it. You're looking at a retirement crisis. Got a good education, got a good job, got the age and the time, but still got robbed in 2008 when the market crashed. Wanna tell your boss to kiss your bus pass, but you can't cause you upside down and your savings on life support right now. Said you can't cause you upside down and your savings on life support right now. So you wake up in the morning and you put on your game face. Then you run out the house late, headed to the same place. On the bus like I'm stuck. In your core like I'm stuck. What you need is a solution, more income and less confusion. What you gonna do, where you gonna go, who you gonna talk to get the info and get money. You can talk to me, you can talk to me, we got what you need, or you can join the team. Build yourself, then build your wealth by sharing what you learn with somebody else. Each one, teach one how money works. Stay compliant so nobody gets hurt. Move like a union, be ambitious. We all independent, follow the system. Move like a union, be ambitious. We all independent, follow the system. Hey, this is Travis. This song was recorded to get your attention. I have some powerful financial information that you should hear. The things that you need to put in place for a solid financial foundation in case you live too long, die too soon, if you become disabled or need to go into a home, or if you simply need access to a tax-free supplemental retirement or emergency fund, we have the information to put these proper plans in place in case any of these things happen. Contact me at my email. That's TKEETONWFG@gmail.com. That's TKEETONWFG@gmail.com. Let's set up an appointment, sit down at the kitchen table or coffee shop somewhere. I'll show you the information. If you have the need and the means, let's get it done. Or if you're looking for a business with a great compensation plan and a proven system, you should join the team. I know this business isn't for everyone, but it's one of those rare situations where if we all follow the system, it can be a win for all involved. The companies win, the clients win, or the families win, the brokers win. We're entrepreneurs, we're our own bosses. Everyone is a broker. We can make good money and travel around the world on the company's dime. Let's at least try to do it.
At last, the wait's finally over. Be Sick returns from a long hiatus with a brand new album entitled Mr. Zero Tolerance.
Available for digital download only.
Be Sick's no punches pulled approach on the mic gives listeners what they want, as well as gives the rap game a well-deserved kick in the ass, with such hard-hitting gems as the title track, Mr. Zero Tolerance.
Mr. Zero fucking tolerance, you fakes at your fun. My tongue's replacing the gun. My toleration is none. Fucking buster and a bitch.
Or the laid-back, fun-filled street anthem entitled Change of Pace, featuring Ghost.
This is something to bump as a gift to the haters. So turn it up loud just to piss off your neighbors. And if you out rolling, you be getting a ticket. And if you
Straight to the guts, blind to the facts.
Blind to the facts that your mind's in a trap. Blind to the facts that with time we adapt. Blind to the facts of what you don't understand. Blind to the facts by the media scams. Blind to the facts of what you read in a book. Blind to the facts of
Download your copy today of Mr. Zero Tolerance from www.cdbaby.com or go to www.cdbaby.com/cd/bsick2. Download your copy today. Keep the realness in the rap game.
Yee! What up, though? It's the undeniable JT Money, a.k.a. the Bitchizer, and you tuned in to STIM Radio with Maxwell Silverhammer and GJ the Jerkman. Heavy that. And guess what? They hate hoes almost as much as I do. So don't sleep on these cats. And speaking of sleeping, don't forget to check out my new single, Hustling, from my new project, Morning Wood. It's going down heavy, baby. And speaking of being out, I'm out like a busted traffic, like you already know. Get him, Jay!
We think it's the banning of
We are anonymous. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody. My boy Maxwell Silverhammer and my bottom bitch jerk man will set you straight with some good old true shit and none of that shit that irks me. Hey Maxie baby, I still got them videos. You fill my cereal port perfectly. Bitch.
Back to the STIM radio show with the blind man behind the mic. Doesn't even realize the mic's in front of him. Maxwell Silverhammer.
Yeah, that's why I'm talking to this bitch. Well, you know, and wow.
I know it's different.
I mean,
It's
okay.
strange.
Now here's the thing, and this is what I had a debate with somebody the other day, or a few somebodies on Facebook. Another debate.
Okay.
Because I was called selfish because I didn't want kids, and I didn't want to bring a kid into the environment that we have nowadays.
I wouldn't call you selfish.
I
I
don't
would say
call you
lucky kids.
I don't call. I don't know. I understand that, and I would feel the same way.
Right.
Not that I don't
So
want
how does that-
kids. I wouldn't want them to go through what this world is bringing them.
I mean, kids.
to. You know, it's different.
Bullies are bad now.
Bullies are really, really bad.
This isn't like, oh, I tripped you and took your lunch pail.
No. This
You know,
is it's
these kids
it's
will
bad.
smash your head in with a brick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's because of the way society is.
Yeah,
You know,
well, and-
society teaches them that you act out. You act
And
out.
See, now trust me, I do blame this shit on the adults because you do have a lot of people having kids that shouldn't be having kids. Where I've at least realized, hey, I don't want kids. I shouldn't have them if I don't want them.
No,
And
that's
make me a bad parent.
No, that is the perfect
Yeah, it's responsible.
ideal. That's responsible to know that, hey, look, why should I hurt somebody else when I
Because I'm following a societal standard.
That's
you
not
know?
being selfish. That's being smart.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you're blind. You could have put them in a cooker or something and thinking you were
I
drying them
thought it was a
off.
piece of toast
It's
or
not,
something.
it's not even that. There's a lot of people that just know that they shouldn't have kids. They don't want kids,
Right,
and
and they
that's
shouldn't,
okay.
but they
That
do.
is okay. But yeah, but there are some. You're right. There are the ones, and this is what's making it bad for the younger generation,
Right.
because these kids are brought into this world
Seeing this reckless behavior.
and that they think it's normal.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is where the problem lies, And then you have to have other people try to figure out, okay, what can I do to compensate for these kids that don't have what they should have had, that we know that we grew up with,
Right.
And it's really, really hard. It's hard to give somebody the idea that they should be responsible, like you were talking about. That person that didn't want to come into work, my gosh, when we went to work, we knew you had to go to work.
And you don't
had
just
to.
you don't just call those shots like, I'm going to be out of town then.
Yeah.
Or here was another one. You talk about entitlements and shit. Yeah, there was one time they screwed up his paycheck, and that he didn't get his paycheck on the day he was supposed to. So right away, I said, okay, man, I'll get on it for you. I'll check into it. I'm sorry about this. So I did, and we got it fixed. So then he says to me, well, next time it happens, I'm going to have to take action. And I'm just laughing. I'm going, yeah, dude, shit where you eat. That's real fucking smart.
Yeah. Yeah. And thing is, I don't know when. I'm trying to figure out when did all this change where, adults decided, and I blame, and, I don't care. People can jump all over me. I blame mothers for not being there to teach what they need to teach and to show them that responsibility doesn't have to be a part of you. A kid should not have to grow up not knowing what responsibility is.
Absolutely not. Well, mothers and fathers. That's a collective effort, obviously.
But yeah, but more so, like I was talking on the show before, there are more mothers now that I kind of equate it to this, like we were talking on the show before, is a mother has a child, carries that child for 9 months, ends up having an attachment to that child different than what the father has. Yeah. Should. Okay? But so many now are how do I say
detached. They're
detached. They are. They have attachment disorders. They detach from reality, from responsibility. They're like, okay, Here's your dad. Let your dad take you.
Well, that's it. And I actually know now I know two people that did that, two mothers, so.
So what are you teaching your kids? So somewhere along the line, society is trying to make up for it. And I'm not saying graduation is something that should be put into their heads. What I'm saying is that was a form of how they decided to, right or wrong, to give kids a positive to try to work towards something when they have nothing at home to work for.
I mean, I just don't like the coddling aspect. I see a lot of that going on now, where kids are being, don't do this, and everything is, don't hurt anyone's feelings, don't do this, that kind of thing. And there's a lot of this.
We go back to grown-ups.
Yeah.
Grown-ups need to take responsibility to be grown up.
Well, there you go.
If you're not grown up, how do you expect to teach a child?
Well,
a child will learn.
You got children raising children.
Yes. Well, we have yeah, that's
really,
true.
They're
that's
adult
true.
children that are raising children. You'll have children that are living at home with their parents raising children.
Well, yeah.
You know?
Go to a house where there's a bunch of druggies.
Yep.
And I know one time of someone that, had a house and the kids were in there and they were little kids and they were watching their mother doing drugs constantly over and over again. They didn't have the father left.
Right.
And he couldn't get custody of the kids. They gave them to the mother. The mother was nothing but a drug addict. And those kids had to sit there all that time and they had to fend for themselves. I mean, if your mother's high, what are you going to do? And it's the same as it would be as if your father was high and he's not taking the responsibility. It's not the kids' fault.
That's the shit where you need to go, okay, this person truly isn't competent enough,
But then Maxwell, you send them to children, you call up children and youth or whatever, and they don't do anything about it. They send kids right back into a house where the kids get killed.
Right.
Because
that's it.
Yeah. It's where does the responsibility lie?
Right.
And I think if there was responsibility, we wouldn't have to worry about kids being coddled. I mean, why are we coddling kids? What is the purpose behind it?
Adults want to be coddled. That's why.
Yeah, and they're the kids. They're the kids.
And they don't want their job to be any harder than it needs to be.
Yeah, they think about themselves.
Yeah, it's all about them.
Here, go play a game while I'm getting high, or
I'm texting or playing a video game or some shit.
Yeah. I don't have time for you right now, but I really love you.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even for instance, at my complex, when the kids are at the pool,
right?
The parents are on the side of the pool talking on the phone or texting, doing
They don't
what.
pay any attention.
No, they don't. They're not. I mean, my parents used to jump in the pool and
have
engage
fun.
me
And have fun.
Oh fuck, we used to have water fights and splash my dad, and he'd dunk
Kids
us.
don't get that nowadays,
Yeah.
Maxwell. They don't get that. They don't get that interaction that we used to get. It's all go over there and have fun. I'm busy.
Yeah,
I'm
go
busy.
play. I got Facebook notifications to look at.
If they even pay attention to that much.
Yeah.
Sometimes the kids just look at their parents and go, "Oh, geez."
Well, let's look at society too. I mean, you can't just jump directly onto that. I mean, I go home. I still work when I get home a lot of times.
But we're talking
about drug addict motherfucking.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is there is a way to get tied up in this world nowadays. I mean, because I don't know anybody that doesn't get up in the morning that gets on their Facebook or doesn't get on their, people that rely on these things nowadays as a form of communication.
But you're still there.
But you're still there being a dad.
You have to have a cutoff period. You have to say.
And really, but sometimes even the kids are. I mean, like Jaden, he's really into his games. You try to have conversation, you try to do this. He's more into the games than he is to anything else.
But we stop him. We say, "Hey, it's enough. Enough today. You got to go out and play. You got to do this.
I've seen you. I've seen you engage
and hide his system.
Fuck yeah!
And hide his system. Yeah.
You're always joking around with him. You're being involved. That's the point.
Yeah, I mean,
he's got to know who you are.
I even tried to get him to relax today. He would look a little uptight, and I told him a story about when he went swimming and that, and he was all relaxed with it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
You agitate him, is what you do.
Well, that's all right, but that's still engaging. That's my dad. He's the agitator. Whatever. But a lot of these kids don't even know their parents or what their parents do.
No, that's true. They don't. They don't know that they don't even know. The parent don't even know they have a kid.
Yeah, you'll say to the kid, "Well, what time's your mom coming home?" Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, where'd she go? To a friend's house.
Yeah,
okay. How long she been gone? couple hours.
Some of them are gone days.
Yeah, I know. I remember, there were these kids that lived in my complex, and the little girl comes knocking on my door one day. I guess she had seen me at the pool, and she asked me if I had any milk. I said, no.
Yeah.
And this is the same one who kind of was, like I said, was in that situation.
Yeah.
You never saw the mom. You don't know where
Yeah.
the fuck she was.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, well, my sister's thirsty. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I was like, I got water,
Yeah.
and that's the best I could do. But, here's
Yeah,
these fucking piece of shit parents who
Yep.
really, in my mind, honestly, the government wants to do something, start controlling some shit. You spade these fucking drug addicts is what you do. Rip their fucking ovaries out.
And-
Sorry.
the
Chop
thing-
their testicles off.
The thing is, you're. Like I said, I don't know where the generation has changed and what has changed it to make it so lax that they have no
I think it's
responsibilities
drugs.
at all.
I think, you know what? I blame this shit. It's drugs. It's,
Well, GJ blames my generation. They were all druggies.
Well, think about it. I mean, these are the ones that are
hippies,
controlling everything now.
Are the hippies
that has
are my
caused all
age.
this shit? Were the ones that fought against the system. Now they control it. They have fucked it up so badly. They
right.
they have. They've become more corporate than the people they fought against originally, and don't give two shits about nobody.
Isn't that some funny shit?
Yeah.
You fight the system and become the system.
system.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're right. That's
Yeah.
exactly what's been going on
We
here.
fight against the Vietnam War because it's all, but then you go, you do the hippie thing.
But
and then
now you got the worst of both worlds, because now
Right,
you have
yeah.
corporate
Yeah.
plus drug
plus-
damage.
yep,
So
yeah.
you got these
Yeah,
they've dropped
it's-
acid
yeah,
40 times
yeah.
or whatever, and they're like
So changing, whether I understand the point you say about graduation, but I also understood what the intent was. I know that the teachers in the school, the teachers are really, really into.
Bottom line
they
is,
have to follow.
it happens.
They have
I
to.
don't agree with it, but you know what? It's needed now.
Well, you know what?
It's a thing that needs to be done now, because these kids have nothing. These kids have nothing to go home to. They barely have parents. They barely have got food. So you have to have something to strive for in life. If you're left with nothing, you don't want to thrive. You don't want to survive. You don't want to move on.
And those kids were
carry
so
on.
proud of themselves because you should have seen the.
I blame the generations.
Yeah,
I blame
yeah.
the way the kids are being, and the fact that they stood up and that they are doing this for the kids. Hey, I don't think a kid should be patted on the head for every damn little thing they do, but it is necessary and is needed when needed. Bottom
To
line,
let them
this
know
is
that
needed.
they've
You
accomplished
can't. I mean, 365 days out of the year, if you went and lived your life and nobody told you did anything good at all, you had no praise, no checks, no nothing from anything, how would you feel at the end of the day?
Damn. I'd feel like I was working at All Talk.
Yeah, exactly right.
but the thing is too, like with
It's kinda true.
Jaden, not all schools do the same thing. Not all schools have 5th grade graduation. Not all schools. A lot of schools do different.
Here's the thing. You're right. There needs to be more. I think there should be more engaging activities through the school.
But they can't do it.
Well, like the one I do. We do these ones called Safe Summer Nights, which are events they're during the summertime. They're at the schools, and they do. They have face painting and hula hoop stuff. And
kids need that. They need that. They need,
and that's a good event. I think those are great events.
The sad part is, I having a teacher for a daughter. And going through schools and watching how they do things and what they do and how they do it is it's really strange. She was relating to me the other night that she had the school that she teaches at now are a class of the 5th. They're 5-star. All those kids are very, very smart. But the thing is, they come from a wealthy background. They're doctors, lawyers, and whatever. And the kids just get game systems and all this and whatever.
The parents aren't involved in there either.
And so
they're just as bad.
What happened is this one girl, she went up. Now this is really strange. She went up to get an award for cookies, Girl Scout cookies. She was selling Girl Scout cookies, and she only sold a certain number. So she went up to get her award for just how much she sold. And she went up and she got up there and she goes, now listen, don't jump on this, but she said, she says, this is all I'm getting? then all of a sudden she stepped back and she says, you know something? She said, and this is a 5th grader. She says, you know something? She says, a year ago, I wouldn't have been satisfied with this. She said, but I have a teacher that taught me respect, and I'm happy for everything I get.
Wow. So she was kind of poking fun at how she used to think.
Yeah, she was telling them that my daughter taught them that in a society, you respect people. She brought all the values that I taught her to the school to teach those kids to do the same.
Yeah.
You know, and that girl would have never, she was spoiled. She was totally spoiled because she got everything she wanted, and it wasn't really what she wanted.
Oh, either extreme is bad. That you were talking about the extremely poor. Extremely rich kids are bad too. Their parents leave pizza money on the fucking counter. Order yourself some pizza, kid. All right, see you in a couple days.
Yeah. And society has changed so much. I mean, just so much. There's just so many different avenues that have changed. So many. You don't have a set way of looking at life. It isn't cut and dried anymore. There is just so many different styles of people and different lifestyles, and a lot of them have become so laxed that children don't have an environment to grow up in that's worth anything.
Yeah, well, and I think too, there consequences have been taken away and all kinds of other stuff.
Well,
if
it's kind of hard to consequence
then
your kid when you don't even know where your kid is.
Oh, I'm not talking about consequences for the kids. I'm talking about consequences for some of these adults.
Yes, adults are the ones that need to be held accountable. They need to hold themselves accountable. For them to go along and say, oh, I'm doing my best, and I'll see you in a couple weeks, kid. Take care of your brother. Give me a break.
Yeah, obviously you're not doing what you should be doing.
No, and not to cut down anybody, but if you're a person who has no responsibility, you only think about yourself. Your main goal is taking care of you. Just because you have your kids doesn't mean you're taking care of them. So many parents don't take care of their kids.
And then you get these. There's some women that get online to find daddy for the kid.
Yeah.
Which this guy could be a pedophile. This could be, there's all kinds of bad shit that can happen.
There is. Kids don't have a safe life.
No.
So, and I respect the fact that you decide that, this isn't what I want.
No, I don't want
and I don't want to ruin somebody's life just because I want to be selfish, because a lot of people do that. Oh, I got to have a kid.
But yet,
I got to have a kid. Then they don't take care of them.
Or a puppy.
Puppy. That's another one. People have pets and they shouldn't have pets.
Yeah, that's true. That
Wait
is
a minute,
true.
Jerkman. I think I see where you're going with that one. But no, there are people that are truly derelict pet owners. But no, but yet I'm the one who's referred to as being selfish. People will call me selfish, but yet my motives are not selfish, in fact.
Well, that I have to say that motive. I don't know about your other motives, but that one I say, yeah, you're right on with that one.
Yeah.
That is.
You should get an award.
Yeah, I should. Do I graduate today? We'll do a whole ceremony. No, I think the school should do more extracurricular stuff. Maybe the graduation isn't the best thing, but there's other things. Like, what about field day? We did field day when I was in school.
They have field day.
Do they still do that?
Yeah, they do field day. The graduation is something new. It's just, and like I said, I'm going, graduation? Are you kidding me? You don't graduate until you get to. But I understood when I went there, when I saw the look on the kids' faces from a school where they don't get any recognition at all at home. They've worked their butts off. I mean, they could stand there and they could tell you stuff I don't know.
We did some wild shit, when I was in school. I had, and I can't tell you because we're at the end.
So a kid should be recommended should be commended for attempting to do better than what their parents do.
Absolutely. And I'm Maxwell Silverhammer.
I'm the hamster.
Don't know what the hell she was even stretching that out for, Jerkman. And that's the story there, bitches. See ya.
Show.